show this? Look at that shock of white. Look at all the gray hair. Look how look how look how much gray hair I have. I can't, I mean, my camera's over here. I can't see if there's anything on the other side, but I got a lot of gray hair starting to form over here, and I'm going to tell you where it's coming from. These dang ghost videos. They are testing me. They're testing me, and my ability to retain my boyish good looks. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. As always, you are watching You Don't Scare Me. My name is Karis. We're going to be checking out some ghost videos, top 5 ghost videos to freak you out tonight. Nick's probably already covered this one. It came out 6 hours ago. He's on it like Tiny Tim on a Christmas ham. But that's okay. We're just going to crack into this one. It is 17 minutes and 36 seconds long, which means that we'll be talking about it. Well, I mean, I'm going to stretch this out. This is probably going to be about a 5-hour video. But without, getting into too much stuff, let's get into the video. I'm going to start by saying, I'm going to start playing, but I'm going to start by saying, if you guys are new here, this is what Nick and I do. We come here, we debunk videos, or we give our honest opinions and sort of criticize the videos, as well as try to explain how we believe that they were done. Not necessarily that we're going to be able to debunk every video that we come at. It looks like a crying in a storm drain. I feel like Nick's already done this one because it is a common. He made a point the other day, actually, when we were talking about not going into storm drains. Two glowing eyes. Nick's point was, if you guys go into storm drains, even when there's like a light drizzle outside, you have to understand that like that light drizzle is falling over a very large area, and all of that moisture is collecting into one point, which is the storm drains that you guys are exploring. So if it's raining out, never go into a storm drain because it's going to collect all that water and flow it out. This guy's clearly in a storm drain where he shouldn't be, and there's some glowing eyes behind the camera. Sorry. I'm trying to watch the video as well as this, but anyways, yeah, never go into storm drains, never explore the storm drains when it's raining out. It's a recipe for disaster. In any case, yeah, so it's summer now, and it's not summer now, it's spring. The weather's improving, other than today it's raining. It was raining yesterday too, but Nick and I are going to be going back out and doing some paranormal investigations. We don't really have the ability to go too far, so if you guys have any areas that are around the Greater Toronto area that you think we could explore, drop them in the comments below, let us know. Nick's already collecting a bunch of different locations that he thinks are really good. Local. Eerily quiet except for yeah, we don't want to just cover like the cemeteries and always do cemeteries because it gets kind of boring after a while. So as if he wasn't alone. I feel like I've seen I've not seen this one. Well, it's probably because you're not. There's an actual person there. There's a physical person. Scoot. Physical person there watching you work, I guess. It's not a ghost. That's a physical person. His work, but when he glanced toward the doorway, maybe somebody who thinks you're handsome. His heart nearly stopped. Something was peeking at him. It was tall and we're off to a great start. This is in the dim light. But what made his blood run cold were its hollow, empty eyes staring directly at him. I think I might have said that properly. I look really red in the video. And then it I look really pale into the darkness. Let's try it again. A man that's the one I usually do, where I look really pale. During a quiet moment at work. The atmosphere was lighthearted, and yeah, so like that last one, it's not a ghost. It's just a person who's physically watching them. Ah, no mames. Ah, no mames. Pasó algo. A ver, ven. Yeah, I'm feeling like this is gonna be a big waste of my time. Yeah, this is holy compressed all to hell. Listen, a lot of these videos, the reason they look like this is because they've been uploaded and downloaded 1,000 times. In this case, it's so indistinguishable as to what we're like looking at that it might as well have been filmed on like a what if we pause this and just zoom out? Can I zoom out in here? Oh, I didn't know I could do that. That's probably gonna mess with my. Yep, there goes my webpage. Inhumanly quick. Yeah, it's. Nor was anyone. It's really difficult. You guys just saw my hidden interests on my anime. Was around at the time. Look, two young girls were sitting. All I can really say about these videos is that they've been compressed all to hell. I realize there's like a little store window thing up there in the corner. Yeah, they've been compressed all to hell. Okay, so like, you know, when you upload a file over time, they degrade as they're downloaded or uploaded or archived and re-brought out. I'm not exactly sure how YouTube manages to condense to actually have like as many videos as they do have on their website. Especially if you go back to like the first videos, they're still there. They're not archived, as far as I'm aware. They may be put into like a dormancy if people aren't viewing them, which is possible. I'm not really totally sure how that technology works, but you can imagine that when you're streaming it, the person who originally filmed it is probably filming it on a very small camera. Imagine them filming it on a flip phone. Okay, so that's already like let's say it's like this big. Okay, and then you have your monitor, which is this big, and so it's blowing out that image so that it fills the whole screen. And then you download it and upload it a couple of times, and you get the compression so bad that it's almost not even worth posting. In this case, it's what we were looking at there. It was a couple of people filming in a hospital, and then somebody goes by in the background, which again is just like a really quick movement, and then we're led to believe that it's a paranormal experience that likely happened to like 2 decades ago, back when we were using Motorola Razors. Yes, that was 20 years ago. I'm sorry. I don't want to be that guy, but it was 20 years ago. In any case, or less, it was about 20 years ago. Like, guys, Shrek came out before 9. Shrek came out the same year as 9/11.
Sitting together, playing in
2001. It was 23 years ago. Shrek came out 23 years ago.
Everything seemed normal until one of them suddenly backed away in fear, her expression shifting from happiness to pure terror.
Okay, they've flipped the image now, so the video's been flipped over. This one has been debunked all to heck. So this video was released on Halloween. Okay, this person was pranking their kids. It was around Halloween. Even like in the original video, in the comments or in the description, it said Happy Halloween. And what it is this little girl here said that Angel was Angel was outside, and the mother says no, you know, whatever mommy's or whatever the kid's name, Angel's in bed, right? Angel is her boyfriend. Okay, and so what this was or her husband or boyfriend, I'm not sure which. The two kids were sitting at the dining room table, and he was trying to scare them outside because it was Halloween, right, or around Halloween. And so the video that was originally uploaded had no context to say that it was a ghost video at all. It was simply just she had uploaded it because she was pranking her kids by scaring them outside, and it got a little out of hand. Okay, Angel is her boyfriend or whatever, was outside of the kitchen trying to startle the kids on the inside, or trying to scare the kids on the inside, wearing a mask or whatever. And then the kids just freak out. Okay.
Girl, however, continued to laugh, but something.
Yeah. She gets startled. She gets scared because she sees what her sister was seeing, and it's probably Angel wearing a mask. It's not a ghost. It was a prank. If you can track down the original one, use the Wayback Machine, track down the original video. The description very clearly states that it was a prank in the hashtags or whatever.
Haunted by restless spirits with eerie
Happy Halloween, hashtag prank, hashtag whatever,
and ghostly apparitions.
I got a new ceiling fan. It's not on right now, but I got a. You don't care. I got a ceiling fan. It's pretty nice. It was $80 on Amazon. It actually works pretty well. Keeps the room very cool when it gets warmer out. I know you don't care, but I just. Nice. I like it. I installed it. I'm not an electrician, but I installed it. I'm not gonna burn my house down because of it. It's just a fan. Gonna bear mace himself. Is that Mace? What's going on here? Hey, maced. Fuck you, homeless people. Fuck you. You get out of here. No rituals. That's hilarious. And then they're like, oh my god, that's hilarious. They're just like, I'm not really totally. Oh, sorry. We'll watch it again. I know. I'm sorry. We're I looked over, I saw my own stupid face, and I was like, "Ah, I'm an idiot." This is what this is what we were
With
watching.
eerie reports of
Sorry,
shadowy figures,
that was silly.
unexplained voices, and ghostly
I'm
apparitions.
not gonna edit this. Anyway, here it is. They're just like they're wandering around a property and stuff, and they hear something, and then here they are. They're like holding this thing, and I was that spray in the face was I thought he was gonna, like, he's holding a can of mace basically, and he points it at himself, so I was like, he's gonna spray himself in the face. He's trying to figure out how it works. And so he goes around the corner, and look, there's just like some people. Let's just there's some people there. Let's just boop. There's some people having a seance or a ritual or something like that. It's just a bunch of like shirtless men sitting in a circle, or in a triangle in this case, and then they're just like sort of interacting with each other. And there's just like, okay, so it's basically a bunch of a few homeless people or something, and they're just like, they go with the mace, and they're just like, get the fuck out of here, get out of here, you homeless people, get the fuck out of here. They're spraying them down. It's like, okay, I'm sure there's more to it. And then they just sit down where those guys were and have their own seance. Like, that's a totally normal thing. You just encountered some physical people in a location who were not harming you or not doing anything ill to you, and you just decided to douse them in mace or whatever and chase them off, and then took their spot. It looks like I have a splinter.
Early in the night, they capture the unsettling sound of humming, followed by a mysterious woman's
This has
voice.
been in me all day, isn't it? What voice? The video has no audio. Is this an editing error on his part? See, the problem with it, one of the problems with editing like this, like, I'll use voice isolation to knock out the reverb and the crappy, like, sound of my voice, like the weird ticks in my voice as I'm speaking, like the sound of my lips and my cheeks and stuff like that. You can usually get that out by using sound isolation or voice isolation. But the consequence of that is that it also scrubs out all of the background audio. So if Nick and I are out and doing some paranormal investigations and we use that sound isolation to like isolate our voices, we're losing all of the credible evidence that comes in behind us. This seems like a big old nothing burger. A lot of these videos are like, again, we don't have subtitles, so we don't know what they're saying, so already right away we're losing a bit of context here. Second off, it's like a lot of these, like, you know,
This time,
Indian cultures and stuff like that, or you know, East Asian cultures, they would all have the same sort of like predilection to like, I know I use the wrong words all the time. I'm like, I don't know English very well. It's my primary language. It's the only language I know. So, but I'm not really good at it. So, give me a break. That or I'm dyslexic. I am dyslexic. That's different. Anyway, what we're talking about here is in East Indian cultures, they sort of amp up a lot of the ghost sightings and stuff like that because it's cinema. I wish there was a word for that. Something tells me the cat's in here. Hi. You kind of startled me there, man. I'm just like, what the hell am I listening to? This. Oh, it's Ziggy. Hi. I just woke up from a nap. I didn't even know you were in here. Just heard weird noises behind me. I'm like, the fuck? It's got to be the cat. I heard her her chomps slap. Anyways, yeah, what? What's up? We wanting to go just like go back to sleep? Meow. Hi. Yeah, so in a lot of these East Indian countries, they have this sort of this preconceived spiritual slash belief in entities like these. It's ingrained in them from a very young age. So a lot of them like to they film these ghost videos because it's so easy to trick people there. They just believe it wholeheartedly because they've already got that nature ingrained into them. Whereas in our culture, it's like 40% of Americans believe in ghosts, and so like it's harder to collect that mass. So in East Indian countries, it's like 80% believe in spirits and ghosts and stuff. You're gonna mess this up for me, aren't you? You're gonna lay right on my keyboard like usual. Anyway,
Standing honestly in
but yeah,
both
so like
rooms.
a lot of this is just it's very much like Bollywood. Not I know that's not the correct terminology for it, but like let's say 99% of this is fake and drummed up, and for some reason this guy just does not have any audio whenever he's like playing his own clips. Like we're meant to be hearing like a woman crying or something, or a woman speaking, and it's just not there. But yeah, they have more to gain by inserting fake evidence than any other culture on the planet because of just how much people believe in it and how easy it is for them to trick people in their culture, right? It's like be like saying no, I've got nothing. All I'm saying is
Just before
it's
concluding their
never real. It's never
exploration, they
true.
capture what appears to be a white figure accompanied by a small.
Okay,
Could
moving on. I'm over that one. It's not worth me debunking. Not worth me debunking because there's nothing to debunk. It's a bunch of bullshit. That is wholeheartedly the sound of somebody's dryer in the basement, and somebody's put like a shoestring or like the a piece of.
I swear I saw something as I shut the door. Is that shut?
Air on shadow, yeah.
Stay on.
Yeah, so what it is that somebody's got the dryer running in the basement, and there's something in the dryer, be it an aglet, which is the end of a shoestring. An aglet is the most likely culprit in a dryer. The door is actually like creaking back and forth because there's an air differential. The basement is cold, the upstairs is warm. Guy's got to change his smoke alarm. Battery.
As he approached the basement door, the banging escalated as if something.
The banging?
Someone was desperately trying.
Tell
to
me you're
get
using
out.
an AI voice without telling me you're using an AI voice. The banging.
As if another unseen force was demanding entry.
No.
His voice was clear as he documented lights flickering, objects shifting
God,
on
I
their
hate
own,
this channel.
and the oppressive feeling of being watched.
Objects moved on their
This
own?
wasn't just one incident.
The guy didn't even watch this. He just this is garbage AI voice, garbage AI content. Garbage AI
entire
content,
house
period.
seemed alive with paranormal activity.
Seemed to live. That was so I'm not.
A pet owner began recording.
You gotta ban these
the
guys
dog growling and
from our
staring
channel.
intently at a slightly ajar door. The dog's ears were perked up. Body.
Oh, this is painful. This is why I'm getting the gray hairs, guys. This is it. It's the AI overlords. Yeah, so the pressure differential from the basement to the upstairs. There's obviously a draft that's like blowing the door open and closed. Likely what happened was that there was an air pressure in the basement, where air was flowing into the basement. There was an air flow in the basement, and when he closed the door to the basement, it invoked like a high pressure system or something, higher pressure in the basement. Sure, something like that. But then when he opens the other door to leave the room, it creates a vacuum pressure and sucks at all of the entryways, right? Because like if the air can come through the window, the air can come through the door. If I open a door in the room, I'm pulling all of that pressure. I'm increasing the pressure because it's sucking all the air into the new void to neutralize the air between the two rooms, right? It's the same reason why sometimes when you open your front door, your back door rattles, because the air inside of your house is neutralized to a particular temperature, and you're now introducing a whole new air pressure or what have you, or temperatures and whatever. The point is that when you open that door, it's forcing, it's sucking. It's why it's harder to open the front door when you're going in. It's you pulling on the door. You're sucking air from the outside in. That's what it is. And so what ends up happening is when he pulls open that door, he's pulling that air in, and when he closes it, the air is it forces other doors to rattle, or in this case, unlatch and open up. You can hear the door creaking back and forth when he's doing that, like when he's like filming it. suggesting the door is not at rest. It's being blown back and forth from whatever air pressure that's changing. And then his fire alarm goes off. Change your battery in your fire alarm. It's life or death.
Human perception.
Dipshit. Dog's growling at a door because it sees something that it has determined is a threat. Not a
As
ghost.
the camera focuses
It's uncomfortable by something, so it's on edge. Dogs are stupid.
Until the door
Like,
creaked open just a little more on its own.
dogs have
In
in their
its gaze locked onto something unseen.
ancestors. Their ancestors had a hunting mentality, a predator mentality, and a defense mentality. These are wolves that were domesticated and then obviously crossbred and all that stuff to get to a point where you have that's a really cool scene. Is that Chernobyl? That is Pripyat, I believe. Like, mostly sure that's Pripyat. Yeah, so anyway, so like dogs will growl at their own shadow, they'll bark at their own shadow, because like you have to understand that you are a human. You done? You gonna head out? Beep, 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 beep. Okay, bye. Meow. Yeah, so the difference is that the dogs don't have you're applying human logic. Like, we understand complex shapes. Like, we understand the shape of a you know what? It's perfect. It's like cats, right? We understand the shape of a cucumber. For us, we know it's a cucumber. We might think it's a snake if it's the corner of our eye and it moves. Cats have no point of reference. They just believe whatever that they're predisposed to. So they don't have that human logic that the human logic, right? Point of reference. It's like kids who point at the stairs and say there's a person up there. They don't have the frame of logic to determine the difference between their imagination and reality. As adults, we develop our brains and we can delineate between what is real and what is our imagination, which is why kids have imaginary friends. You know, it's slower development of cognitive abilities. It decreases their ability to distinguish that, and people often consider that to be adjacent. It is Pripyat. That's the Chernobyl, or the Ferris wheel in the background there. This must be the school. Anyway, so yeah, kids don't have the ability to delineate the difference between abject reality, like reality as we see it, and their imagination. And so they form bonds with imaginary friends and things like that. And we try to medicate and try to help nurture kids like that, because they should be able to develop that cognitive ability to dissociate or delineate between the two. So without that, with the absence of that, it leads to problems further in their adult development and the development of their adult brain. So we like to treat that and make sure that they're able to, deal with those things later on in life. It might seem cruel when you're younger, when you're watching things like Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. You might develop like this sort of a deep attachment to imaginary friends, but it is unfortunately a symptom of brain degradation, or the brain not developing properly. So in this case, yeah, we're talking about dogs. We're not talking about children, but it's the same principles apply. You're applying an adult, mature human logic to an animal that can't even read a book, can't understand anything aside from its like core functions, which are, eat, sleep, and shit. So let's just say that's like the primate brain of a dog. It doesn't know there's no danger there. It assumes there's danger and gets on edge, but because it's not a human, it can't apply human logic to that situation, whereas you're trying to apply human logic to that situation. And you can't pretend like your pets can see the future, see ghosts, or see things that aren't there, because you want them to. They're not any more in tune with the spiritual world than you are. In fact, they don't even have a point of reference to determine what is or isn't a physical entity. The same principle applies. They might even have an imagination, and they're just imagining something and getting agitated, perceiving a threat that doesn't exist.
When an eerie detail
Dogs will bark at their own shadows. They'll bark at trees. They'll bark at leaves. This is one of those like
The reflection's mouth stretched into an unnatural wide grin. A smile.
Yeah, this is one of those like
Yet the actual person hadn't smiled.
yeah, it's heavily compressed, but we've seen these before. Those are videos that would circulate online to scare people. It's like, you know, when we were little, we used to have this game that we would play, and I know it's not a game that you would play, but it's called Image Roulette, or Link Roulette. Link Roulette was probably the easiest way to describe that. In the early days of the internet, when you clicked on an image, it would load really slowly. Okay. And the reason was because we hadn't quite discovered ways to like deliver bandwidth as fast. Right now, if you go on any like, you know, meme site, like I Can Has Cheeseburger, I don't know, it's still a meme site. I'll say like 9gag or iFunny or something like that, and you can scroll infinitely, and the images are right there. They're preloaded. They're right there for you to see. When we were kids, it wasn't the case, okay? If you wanted to look at an image, you had to you had determined yourself to click on a link and wait for the image to load. That's not a thing anymore. So back in the day, there used to be blogs where they would just show links all the way down to the bottom. You'd click on that link, it would be like something interesting, like, hey, check out this cool motorcycle I found in the woods. And you'd click on that link, and then it would take you to a new web page, and then the data would start to parse and like load in line by line, boop, 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 until you get the full image. The consequence of this is that when we were very young, there was a game where you would play, and it was called Cute Cat Pick. And a lot of the times what you would do is you'd say, okay, well, here's a picture of a cute cat. It's a link. There's no preview for the image. You'd click on it, and it'd either be a cat or someone's butthole. And so, like, as adults, as an adult, when you see videos like this video is one of those videos. Okay, these videos are from the early days of the internet, where people weren't able to preview videos and images before. So what they would do is they would go and you would click on it, and it would be like a cool maze or whatever, solve this maze, and then they jump scare you and stuff, because there was no ability to like sort of, vet the video you were about to watch. So what ended up happening was there were a lot of people out there who produced clips like these to scare kids, to scare people or to like creep people out. And they're so antiquated and old that we don't do this anymore. The horror aspect, or like the video aspects, like this sort of like vibes, they've evolved over time now. We do different things in our videos, which is another thing. You can sort of tell the age of a video depending on what kind of subject you're in it. Nowadays, people are more interested in filming shadows and aliens and stuff like that, or like UFOs and stuff. So you can see like this clear evolutionary stand as we proceed in our fake ghost videos. If you scroll back like 10 years and you start looking at the ghost videos from back then, the trends for ghost videos were different. The trends for ghost videos are different now, which is why you can sort of start to really paint a clear picture of why ghost videos are 9 times out of 10 unequivocally fake, falsified. That's just the way it is. Like, it's like a lot of them, they follow the same social trends, like things being pulled suddenly out of space. That was The Conjuring, and this sort of shock factor. It comes from Nick. Again, Nick produced a whole series of videos about jump scares and horror and how that plays into the current ghost videos that you're experiencing. That's a wonderfully large C-clamp there. The shame it was left. Looks like it was rusted pretty good, but I could clean that up, give it a new home, love it, treat it well. It's a great looking clamp, that's what I'm saying. Very, very, very sturdy, those clamps. Like some like eyes in the ceiling. I don't know if you saw that. I don't know if that's what they're going to point out, but up here you can kind of see 2 glowing eyes. Probably just a reflection off of some kind of instrument inside the building. But if they point it out, I'll be surprised.
I mean, that brick. It's ready to fall.
I didn't see that brick ready to fall.
Super sketchy. Walking underneath this.
Yeah, I mean, abandoned buildings are always sketchy because time breaks down.
What the hell is that?
Sounds like Sounds like a brick fell. Maybe even just that brick that you were walking under.
Shortly after entering,
It could have been like, again, the air differential, like the temperature of your body changes the pressure in the room. So he's walking through a dark, musty basement that hasn't had, it's been still air, the water's trickling through. There's standing water, still water, probably full of bacteria and stuff. And probably what ended up happening was he walked by and disturbed the foundation, like just enough to knock a brick out. Or he's not alone. Picks up a brick. Good idea. He's in a shopping center or something, like an abandoned shopping mall, like a concourse or something underground. Those look like checkout tills there. Some kind, maybe. With the amount of graffiti that you see around you, it's pretty obvious to me that you are likely not alone in this abandoned building. The idea that you are exploring an abandoned building easily accessed by you, as well as other people, you're never really truly alone in these places. You know, think about like how many homeless people would squat in abandoned buildings, or gangs would use them as their hideouts and stuff.
That is nasty, though. Ugh.
Stalactites. Oh, your light went out. It's okay, it's just as dark for everyone else as you.
Faint voices emerge from the darkness, and without warning, his flashlight suddenly goes out for no apparent reason.
Jesus Christ.
Now he's got his phone. Probably scared the crap out of him, being in the dark like that.
Man, are you serious right now?
You know, it's interesting that there are people who are wandering around down there without flashlights. Poor guy. Guess that was enough of that. And again, we're having a problem with the audio. The original, or the publisher, he probably muted the audio because there was either music in the background, which is again that what I was referring to earlier with the voice isolation issue, where it like scrubs out some other things. Like if we want to talk about, we want to review these ghost videos, we need to sometimes remove the music from the ghost video, which sometimes clips away the sounds that you might be hearing. Just based on the fact that it would be a DMCA, or like, you know, it'd be a violation of like
his camera records
certain conditions, you know.
Moving in the hallway.
Oh wow, look at that.
Wouldn't realize until reviewing the footage later.
So
A man recovering in a hospital bed.
there's no ghost there. That was a physical person. Again, squatters, gang members, anybody, literally anybody who's squatting in an abandoned building. If you got in there that easily enough, everyone else did too. Hospital videos, always creepy. Ooh.
A pale, shadowy figure of a woman peeking from behind the curtain. Her features were obscured, and she stood.
Yeah, it's hard to say because again, like we got a lot of compression on the video.
Was a nurse. He called out, but no one responded. When he looked up from his phone, the figure was gone.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead and just gonna do something really quick here. Oh, good, I'm not even subscribed. 6 comments. I should in 7 hours. I should make a comment, but I don't want to do it on my personal account. Yeah, so no ghosts in this one. Again, just spooky people doing spooky things. Like, not spooky people, but like necessarily like these were all humans. They were all humans doing their thing. Now the issue again that comes from a lot of these videos is that like when you go to explore an abandoned building, you are always in an abandoned building. If it was easy enough for you to get in there, abandoned means there's not supposed to be anybody in it anymore. However, that also includes security. Okay, so with the absence of security, or the absence of property guardians, or anybody who's like sitting or like living in the establishment or the building to protect it from squatters and looters and rioters, or like people who are going in there to punch holes in the walls or whatever, is that, you know, it's fair game. It's public, right? You can get in trouble for breaking into these things, but only if people see you. There's no security cameras or, you know, security systems that are usually in place unless the building is valuable. So what ends up happening is people will go and they'll explore these abandoned places and they'll think there are ghosts in there, but actually it's other people. And it 99.9% of the time are other people. And that 0.1% of the time, 0.01% of the time, animals. Okay, no, not ghosts, animals, physical entities, animals or people. And the dangers that come along with that are you don't know the intention of the humans that you're going toe to toe with here. So there's two critical components here. Travel in groups. If you're going to go explore abandoned buildings that you do not have permission to be in, like if I were to go and do if I was to go and do a paranormal investigation at the local dialect prison here, I would contact the municipality and get permission to film inside of it, and have somebody who gives me entry to it, and then pay the permit and everything that to do whatever I want inside. Just based on the principle of this is a private space, it's guarded, it's defended, and it is, for all intents and purposes, it is it would be a safer experience because I'm meant to be there, and anybody who isn't meant to be there would be ushered off the property by security. So in the case of when you go into an abandoned building or in any structure like that, always go in with the previous understanding that there will be a person, a human, in that building, and approach them with caution. Approach the building with caution, or travel in groups. Bring some friends, bring a crew with you, so that you're not going into these places alone, because then you'll be in a situation like this guy was. And then second to that was yeah, most other ghost videos, like the last one there, it's creepy, but you are in a public place for all intents and purposes. I know a lot of the places in hospitals are guarded off, but technically speaking, hospitals are public places. You can pretty much get into the elevator in any of the hospitals. Any hospital, you can walk right in 99% of the time. I'm not sure anywhere in Canada. I've never been in a hospital in Canada where I didn't have unfettered access to the entire building, whether I had a patient there or a friend, or whether I was a patient there. You could go in and you could walk around and explore, and you can walk into any room. None of them are locked. And so, unfortunately, the cases, like, you could say it was a ghost, or you can say it was another patient, it was a nurse, or it was a random person on the street who's, walking around peeping on people who are in the hospital. Not necessarily peeping in a promiscuous conversation, but just in the simple aspect that it is public space enough that I can walk into anybody's room for any reason. And the only thing that would stop me is if somebody noticed me, realized I didn't belong there, and contacted security. So in that case, I highly, highly doubt that last one was a ghost, and it was more than likely somebody who was physically there and looking into the room, and either a voyeur or something of that nature. In any case, again, no ghosts. 5 scary ghost videos, none of which scared me or were ghosts. So once again, here we are. If you guys have any comments or any feedback for the show, let me know. Drop it in the comments below. If you have any suggestions for future content, same thing. Drop it in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe if you want to, and then yeah, we'll catch you in the next one. I ended that like I was going to say more, but that's it. Okay, I love you. Bye.